Chapter 5. Judgment Day, Galileo before the Inquisition. The trial of Galileo Galilei in 1633 stands as a landmark event in the history of science and religion. It encapsulated the conflict between the burgeoning scientific revolution and the established doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church. This chapter delves into the details of Galileo's trial, exploring the charges against him, his defense, the verdict, and its immediate aftermath. In late 1632, Galileo was summoned to Rome to face the Roman Inquisition. Despite his advanced age and deteriorating health, he complied, embarking on a challenging journey. The Medici family, his longtime patrons, provided significant support during this period. Galileo was lodged at the Villa Medici in Rome under close surveillance, signaling the gravity of his impending trial. The Medici's support reflected their commitment to intellectual advancement and their strategic interest in aligning with influential figures like Galileo, who enhanced their prestige. Galileo's journey to Rome was marked by both physical and emotional strain. The hostile environment he entered was a far cry from the intellectual circles he had previously navigated with ease. The Inquisition's reputation for harsh judgments and severe punishments loomed large over Galileo as he prepared to defend his life's work. The trial began in April 1633 and was conducted by the Roman Inquisition, a powerful institution tasked with maintaining doctrinal orthodoxy. Key figures included Cardinal Robert Bellarmine, who had previously warned Galileo in 1616, and Pope Urban VIII, who had initially been a supporter of Galileo, but felt personally affronted by his dialogue. The Inquisition's proceedings were rigorous and methodical. Galileo faced charges of holding, teaching, and defending heliocentrism, a view already condemned by the Church in 1616. The trial involved the examination of evidence, testimonies, and intense questioning. Galileo was subjected to relentless scrutiny, with the Inquisition seeking to establish not only his adherence to heliocentrism, but also his intent and motivations. The length of the trial, which lasted over 2 months, was notable. Typically, the Inquisition dealt swiftly with perceived heretics, often resorting to immediate and severe punishments. The protracted nature of Galileo's trial suggests the Inquisition recognized the complexity and significance of his case. Galileo was not just any defendant. He was a renowned scientist with influential supporters, both within and outside the Church. The international attention his case attracted and his intellectual status demanded a more measured approach. Galileo's defense hinged on his 1616 meeting with Cardinal Bellarmine, during which he was admonished not to hold or defend heliocentrism. Galileo argued that his dialogue presented heliocentrism as a theoretical discussion, not as an established fact. He attempted to reconcile his findings with Church doctrine, emphasizing that he had not intended to challenge the Church's authority directly. Galileo sought to navigate a delicate balance between his scientific convictions and the Church's doctrinal demands. He asserted that his work was consistent with the hypothetical treatment of heliocentrism permitted by the Church. His defense was a calculated attempt to align his scientific pursuits with the theological boundaries set by the Church. On June 22, 1633, the Inquisition delivered its verdict. Galileo was found vehemently suspect of heresy for supporting heliocentrism. The sentence had 3 key components. 1. Galileo was required to abjure, curse, and detest his heliocentric views. 2. He was sentenced to formal imprisonment, later commuted to house arrest. 3. His dialogue was banned, and he was prohibited from publishing any future works. The verdict was a devastating blow to Galileo. His public abjuration was intended to humiliate him and serve as a deterrent to others. The Inquisition's actions underscored the Church's resolve to maintain its authority and suppress any challenges to its doctrinal positions. Under the threat of physical torture, Galileo publicly recanted his heliocentric views. The legendary phrase, "Eppur si muove," and yet it moves, though likely apocryphal, symbolizes his internal defiance and the enduring truth of his scientific discoveries. The recantation marked a profound personal and intellectual defeat for Galileo. Given Galileo's flair for drama and satire, it is plausible that the phrase "Eppur si muove" carried a double meaning. While ostensibly referring to the motion of the Earth around the Sun, it might also have been a subtle jab at the Church's efforts to suppress his ideas. In essence, Galileo could have been suggesting that despite the Church's attempt to silence him, the very act of putting him on trial demonstrated that his ideas had caused the institution to move or react. The verdict elicited mixed reactions. Galileo's supporters, including the Medici and the Republic of Venice, were disheartened. The Medici, who had long been patrons of Galileo, expressed their disappointment privately, but remained cautious in their public stance to avoid direct conflict with the Church. The Republic of Venice, known for its contentious relationship with the papacy, also viewed the verdict as a setback for intellectual freedom. These reactions underscore the broader implications of Galileo's condemnation on his network of supporters and the intellectual communities of Europe. The scientific community was deeply affected by the trial. Galileo's condemnation sent shockwaves through the intellectual circles of Europe. While some were cowed into silence, others were inspired to continue the pursuit of scientific truth, undeterred by the threat of persecution. After the trial, Galileo was initially placed under house arrest in Siena, under the watchful eye of Archbishop Piccolomini. Later, he was allowed to return to his villa in Arcetri, near Florence, where he remained for the rest of his life. Despite the restrictions, Galileo continued his scientific work in secret, including his research on mechanics, which culminated in the publication of Discourses and Mathematical Demonstrations Relating to Two New Sciences in 1638. Galileo's house arrest marked a period of both confinement and intellectual productivity. Deprived of his public platform, he focused on his scientific pursuits in relative isolation. His work during this period laid the foundations for future advancements in mechanics and motion. The trial and condemnation of Galileo Galilei were pivotal moments in the history of science. They highlighted the tension between the pursuit of knowledge and the preservation of doctrinal authority. Despite his public recantation, Galileo's ideas endured, laying the groundwork for future scientific advancements and the eventual acceptance of the heliocentric model. Galileo's trial serves as a testament to the enduring struggle between truth and power. It underscores the resilience of the human spirit in the face of formidable opposition and the relentless pursuit of knowledge in the quest for understanding the natural world.